Well, I just wanted to apologize for every single fucking version of Windows that sucked, which is basically all of them. Also, sorry for creating viruses just so I could profit from selling you the antivirus software. And on that note, sorry for spreading real viruses by profiting from vaccines and shit. Also, sorry for sterilizing so many of you. There's just too many of us, and some of you are not nice. That's why I'm trying to block out the sun. Anyway, I just came here to ask for a pardon from all the Epstein shit. Thank you.
Now, that would be some real news, wouldn't it? If we actually had people, politicians, right? The ruling class, government, media, and academia, that holy trinity that actually spoke that frankly, wouldn't that be some good news? That's what we're going to cover today, folks. We're just going to talk about the crap we call news and what's going on. I want your opinion. I want your opinion of what do you think's going on? And, well, how do you think we get out of it? Right? How do we get out of it? Do we make any headway? By the way, today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. I can't stress enough to you how easy it is if you'll just go to JovanLovesGold.com. I don't know what else to say to you. Precious metals are going to the roof. Paper money likely is going to go away. I'm worried about the digital conversion. It's a perfect excuse for the system to make up for its shittery losses. There are some people that think if they do this grand consolidation and stuff, it might lop off 32% of your value. That's like, okay, you got $1. They're going to just take 32 cents of it. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that. Here's all I'm asking you to do. Go to JovanLovesGold.com. Very simple. Fill out the form, get the information, understand why you need to understand about gold and silver, especially if you have 401k, IRA, retirement savings account. Can't make you do it, folks, but I've been telling you this for a long time. For a very, very long time. Let's see, I started telling you when it was about $1,400, $1,500 an ounce. That's so $4,305 ago. Pay attention, folks. Plus, you might get up to $10,000 in free silver. Anyway, we're going to talk about some interesting news. You let me know if it snoozes, right? You let me know how it impacts you. Share this program, folks. Let's get started.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, guys, let's talk about some crap. The crap we call the news, right? Let's just Yeah, I'm looking at you. Did you stay out last night drinking? Your eyes look a little bit blurry. I bet you went out drinking with the guys yesterday, didn't you? Anyway, let's get to the news. And, is any of it really meaningful? I just want to know. Put it in chat. Just a question. Do you honestly care about the news? Does it move the needle? Or is the news nothing more than salesmanship? I'm beginning to think on most news outside of a tragedy, right? That it's just salesmanship. It's just flyers. It's just like leaving a little flyer on your dashboard at the parking lot. Here's what I want you to know. And it's really, here's how good we are. No, here's how good we are. Well, here's how bad they are. No, here's how bad they are. Here's what you should think. Isn't it? When it comes down to it, where do you fall? Oh, by the way, are you putting mRNA in your food? Oh my God, Jennifer wants us to know and to go to her site and to buy. Right. Are you putting any faith at all in news? Do you truly trust any news? I mean, it's kind of a simple question. Do you trust any news? Sorry, I had to just look at that link that popped up in chat. Did you know they were putting mRNA in our food? Oh my God. And it just appeared in my chat. It must be so incredibly breaking news important. I must look now. Is there any news you trust? Just asking. Is there any news you trust? Is there any news that you actually think is news? Zod's right. He's over in Australia and he can see this shit. They're just selling a narrative. I honestly don't think there's news. Unless, of course, you watch Lindell Network and see he personally got rid of the machines and personally defeated the voting companies. So says Emerald. But any of it? Is there even news like in Fox or anything? Just a question. Is there any news anywhere? I think it's just to convince us of things. When did news stop being news? Any idea? When did news stop being news? Any idea? I think it probably stopped maybe in the 60s. Maybe in the 60s is I think when news stopped. Somebody says Real America Voice. Real America Voice does a good job, but here's the question. Do you think any of them, OAN, Newsmatch, Real America Voice, anyone, I'm just asking an honest question. Do you think they run news because it's news, or do you think they run some of the news stories because it makes the left look bad and it makes President Trump look good? Because I think conservative media does that as well. I think all media, somebody says not 100%, right? Rab's the best. Rab's was one of the best, but is there anywhere in the world, anywhere, any source, any style of news that is actually, this is what happened, Here's the facts, you decide. It's like the kid that, and there's something going on. I don't know if it's overseas or domestic, but a kid that played like he was carjacked and maybe shot himself and whatever. So a kid I don't know what it was, having issues with his parents or mom, called his mom and said he was being carjacked and she heard a shot. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. And they found the kid. The kid had been shot. The news story, was that Florida? Thank you. The news story was a MAGA hat wearing kid, blah, 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 blah. Because somewhere in something, there was a red hat he was wearing. Now, what did that have to do with it? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. So I do wonder, is there anyone out there in any place where it's just news? Here's what happened. Here are the facts, etc. I'm going to try a few. From the conservative side, some of the stories that are out there, right? But even if you look at it, there's news that makes conservative looks bad that appears on the left-leaning networks, and there's news that makes news that makes the right look bad on the left-leaning networks, news that makes the left look bad on the right-leaning networks. Who was that? What was that's Hannity and Combs? Any of y'all remember that? Hannity and Combs? Alan Combs, I think it was his name. He died. Right? But when they had one half liberal, one half conservative. Y'all remember that? And you just battle it out and have it out. Alan Combs, yeah. I really think if news is going to have a revival, I think it completely has to rework. And if I could wave a magic wand and redo news today, you would have 3 anchors. You're going to have an extreme leftist. You're going to have an extreme rightist. There's no middle road. You're going to have an extreme leftist. You're going to have extreme rightist. And you're going to have one in the middle that's, why should I give a shit? And it doesn't matter what the story is, right? You're going to take turns. You're going to get, here's the story. The right person on the right is going to tell why it is, whatever. You're going to have the person on the left tell why they think it is what it is. Of course, there's going to be opposing views. And you're going to have somebody in the middle that says, why should I even give a shit? I think it would work if it stayed pure. And you always end up, why should I give a shit? How does this impact me? So somebody gets something out of the news. Right? So somebody gets something out of the news. Okay, says, hey, do you think there's a reason Trump hasn't brought back the Smith-Mundt Act? Yeah, because they're using it right now. The same way the Democrats were. Anyway, did you see this one? John Bolton. Right? Yeah, the PNN, the Pulitzer News Network. Here it is. Both sides and why. The PNN. Anyway, John Bolton has been indicted. And it's very interesting reading this. I posted it up on Locals for you a while back. But basically, the indictment talks about a period from April 9th, 2018, all the way through August 22nd, 2025, that Bolton was actually sharing documents with his wife and his daughter, which is a big no-no. And that's kind of how some of these highly sensitive materials went out. I hear, right, that it's thousands of documents, right? Thousands of, not a few, but thousands of documents that actually got leased. He's got multiple counts 1 through 8. There's 8 individual charges. He's got 8 individual counts of transmission of national defense information. Now, that's a big deal, folks. And then he's got counts 9 through 18, because there's 18 counts total regarding the retention of national defense information. That's 18 counts. But here's what's interesting. All of those are no-nos. 18 counts specifically under the Espionage Act. Pretty wild, huh? That's not just a no boo-boo. 18 counts under the Espionage Act. That really hasn't come around in a long time. When you think of it, hadn't been used. What do you think about that? Put it in chat. And do you think they will really run this through, right? Do you think they will push it to its end? Do you think they will use this to play a little bit of hardball with the left? Espionage is a big deal. Now, you might not know this, but in the United States of America, it is considered the single most serious crime you can commit in the United States of America. It's not murder, it's not arson, it's not rape, it's not mass high school shootings. The single number one crime, the most serious of all federal offenses in the United States, is the Espionage Act, right? Now, he's been charged with 18 different charges. Now, under section, what's called 793, where most of these fall, it's 10 years per incident. 10 years per incident. He has potential exposure for 180 years. Now, I want you to understand, this is what they tried to say and charge Donald Trump with in 2003. Right? In 2003. I told you then, did you realize I was right? Now that you find out all these years later, I told you, wait, those are file jackets. Those are not classified documents. I explained to you what classified documents look like. They all come in that file jacket, what they staged for that photo there, right? I told you that, remember? Of course, now we know that. But this is one of the very few crimes in the United States that, depending upon how serious it is, especially if it falls under 794, that actually is a nonviolent crime that carries the death penalty. Now, if convicted, it's not only about 10 years per incident. You lose your citizenship eligibility. Of course, you lose your security clearance, which is already gone, and you forfeit all personal property and bank accounts. What do you think will happen? Put it in chat. Do you think anything will come of it? I got a yes. Anybody else? Do you think anything will come of it? Do you think that the current administration will take this so serious that they will finally do something about this? And if there's up here, smoking gun here, Bolton, then you bet, and I would say, and this is only my guess, I do not know, I'm going to say this is the trial run. That sound about right? They're floating this up with Bolton. And if they can make it stick and it goes through, then they're going to go after Brennan and Clapper and others. So I tell you, my gut says this may be the trial balloon. And you're right. Everybody just wants justice served. Do you keep up with boxing like Leon Spinks? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't know why I do that. Oh, well, I do know why I do that. Stacey Abrams, otherwise known as Leon Spinks, retired from fighting and went into politics. She spent 10 years raising money. Her gig is considered one of the most influential political groups in the South, the New Georgia Project. You vote. You vote this way because you got the melanin to do it. Now, supposedly, what do we hear? Wasn't it like a couple $1 billion disappeared going to buy people refrigerators or TVs or whatever the case may be? Well, as all of this is coming through, and of course, President Trump's back in, Georgia did launch an investigation into her. And the Georgia Senate was looking deep, supposedly, at her fundraising efforts. She basically kind of stepped away. And they started saying that, well, she's no longer affiliated with us. But now that they got Fannie's rump as well and her problems, and they've got this Senate negotiation, and my understanding, this is a big deal. This organization raises millions. One fine for illegal fundraising that they paid, they were found, as I understand it, guilty of. They've had paid a $300,000 fine. You don't pay a $300,000 fine unless you're raking in millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, right? The Ethics Commission there in Georgia said that it had raised $4.2 million in dark money, and it had spent $3.2 million of that dark money on campaign activities. Right? The Environmental Protection Agency, I don't remember what the terms are, but one of those Stacey Abrams deal under Obama, and you know she ran a lot of interference for Georgia. The Obama administration rewarded her to one of the organizations she's linked with $2 billion contract for whatever it was. A $2 billion contract. Isn't that weird? $2 billion. Now, let me ask you a question. You start a new firm. It's connected to Stacey Abrams. We have all this crap that goes on in 2020. She does this. I didn't lose. They stole from me. And you got this little new company that had been raising money. Tracking down the records, that little company earned, whatever you want to call it, raised a whopping $100. Yeah. What she's tied to, yes, it was established and it was doing good and we're doing big things, had revenue of $100. And then Biden awards it a $2 billion award. $2 billion. Well, anyway, as all of this digging deep about following the money, and of course they have liabilities if they're open and stuff. Well, she said she wasn't affiliated with them, and now, magically, deliciously, they have disappeared. They shut down and gave a statement that says, we are proud of the milestones we have achieved, the communities we have engaged, and the countless individuals whose lives have been strengthened by our work. And it is no more. Oh, yeah. Just so you know, if you shutter the shop, officially and legally close it up, it's hard once it's shuttered to now go down to the individuals and try to claw that money back. So what do you think's going on? You think the writing on the wall, they're going to get caught and they're finally looking at it, right? If that entity's still going, you have some issues with the entity. They're not necessarily afraid of charges. I mean, if you were to steal hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions, you're going to have a good defense. So they just shut it down. Do you think that this too is an indicator, just like Bolton may be floating of a balloon? Do you think that we're seeing operations like stuff going on? And then there's breaking news. Here, breaking news from Twitch. Trump raped kids. Oh my God. Oh my God. I never, oh my God. I never heard that. Oh my God. Hey, Digga-dud, will you come on and share that breaking story with us? I'm telling you, that is incredible. In fact, I've given you the link. All you got to do is click on your camera and audio. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, you have got to come on. I'm telling you, Diggy Doug, you've got to come on and share with us all your incredible hard work and investigative journalism. Shit, we were just talking about that. We were just talking about the fact that there's not any real journalists anymore. And I'm telling you, oh, Doug, is it Doug? Diddle Doug? Diggers Doug? Diddles Doug? You may be the incredible linchpin that every Democrat, every liberal, every incredible left-leaning organization, right, They've been looking for that proof. And oh my God, you have that proof. Holy shit, dude, or dudette. I don't know it. But holy shit. Do you know how many magazine covers you will be on? Fuck, I bet you they're going to pay you millions and millions and millions of dollars for your book detailing the story of what you found out. Do you think you could bring on the kids and their family? Of course, we'll protect their faces and sound and stuff. You met them in your investigate. Could you get them on for us? I'm telling that, dude. I would consider that a favor. I mean, you're already going to be famous raking in the bucks, breaking that story. You're going to be fucking famous. But since you decided to break that news on my program, you could help me out too. If I could just land an interview with the parents of those children, and if I could just get those children on TV, oh my God, do you know how famous you'll be? Everybody will know your face, Doug, Diddle Doug. Diddling and the Diddle Dog will go down in history. They're probably going to write songs about you, but man, I could write a hell of a book. I'm telling you, if you'll just turn over your investigation notes to me, boy, we could make some money. I have to tell you, though, I feel so honored. God bless me. I feel so honored that you decided to come on of all the programs you could have gone on, of all the programs you could have been on and break that incredible story, which will finally take Orange Man Bad down. And you chose to do it on mine. Wow. Everybody. Diddle Doug. He's had a whole life of diddling done to him. Fucking A. You are a great American hero, although you might not even be in America. Hell, you might not even speak English. But oh my God. You're going to be on the cover of Time Magazine. I know it. People Magazine is going to come interview you. I bet if you play your cards right, because you're on Twitch, you might be a gamer, you might be able to turn it into a reality TV program, kind of a quasi how you did it, a look in your life, and how you worked in between, gaming, how you did it. Fucking A. You have just won my personal Pulitzer Prize for breaking that incredible news right here. Well, at least you got it thematically right, because it is, well, crap, we call the news. And you dropped that perfect turd right here. And I just want to thank you so very much. I'm telling you, got to contact the Dems, man. They've been looking for this shit forever. They've been looking for the absolute proof. You just posted absolute proof, fucking proof. You posted it on social media. That is so courageous. Check this one out. Now, I like redheads. I've always liked redheads. I was married to a redhead. There's no kind of middle of the road redheads. Guys know what I'm talking about. She's either frumpy or she's either real good looking, not in between. I like redheads. There's something about creamy white skin, playing connect the dots with freckles, red merkins. Redheads are awesome. This redhead bugs the shit out of me. right? But she has come up. Yes, you say my name properly. Pulitzer. It's not Pulitzer. Pulitzer. That's what my priest used to tell me. It's Pulitzer. Pew, like church pew. Anyway, have you seen her breaking news story? Did she get her story from Diddle Dug? Oh my God. Diddle Dug, you are so proficient. Diddle Dug gave her this breaking story.
People are calling this protest the No King's Day because Trump thinks he's a fucking king. And, you know, he's not. He's barely a president. In fact, guess what? I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. I don't think he won in a free and fair election. You heard me. I'm coming out and saying it myself. I don't care if that means I look crazy because
You look crazy? No.
people are calling this protest the No King's Day because Trump thinks he's a fucking king. And, you know, he's not. He's barely a president.
I told you. Look over her right shoulder. Screen left. She's got her merc in there.
People are calling this protest the No King's Day because Trump thinks he's a fucking king. And, you know, he's not. He's barely a president. In fact, guess what? I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. I don't think he won in a free and fair election. You heard me. I'm coming out and saying it myself. I don't care if that means I look crazy because Elon Musk, who's this other Nazi guy running around town who owns X, and a lot of people think he's a genius, but he's not. He's like a fake genius.
A lot of people think he's a genius, but he's not. He's a fake genius. He's another one of those Nazis like Trump. Can I just ask you a question? Honest question. One, being a Jew, I understand this. My Jewish audience understands this. Think about all the Jews killed by the Nazis. Think about the long-term effects of that memory of the murderer, punish, rape, pillage, destroy, steal that the Nazis did to the Jews. I want you to think about for a minute. Doesn't matter if you think 7 million died, 11 million died, or 11 died. I heard that the Jewish people in the Jewish state who hate Nazis, can you believe that they gave the highest Israeli de facto Jewish award in the world to the head Nazi known as Trump? Oh my God. What were they thinking giving that top prize to a Nazi? Dumbasses.
People are calling.
Not the Israelis, but liberals trying to convince you that's Trump's a Nazi.
People are calling this protest the No King's Day because Trump thinks he's a fucking king. And, you know, he's not. He's barely a president. In fact, guess what? I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. I don't think he won in a free and fair election. You heard me. I'm coming out and saying it myself. I don't care if that means I look crazy because Elon Musk, who's this other Nazi guy running around town who owns X, and a lot of people think he's a genius, but he's not. He's like a fake genius. Anyway, he's a professional Nazi, in my humble opinion. And he's good friends with Trump. And at one point, I don't know if you remember, but he was giving out $1 million checks to people if they would vote for Trump. That's illegal. It's unconstitutional and illegal. So that was happening. And the fact that Trump won all 7 swing states, which has never happened in the history of the U.S., makes it all very suspicious to me. So there, I said it. All right, now for some fun pop culture. I went to an award show.
When I go back and I look at people like Jim Carrey or otherwise, right? When they make comments about Trump is Hitler and stuff, I've been tracking a trend for years. Okay. And here's what I have come to realize. That when a celebrity hits the wall, when their queue, that's what it's called, rating queue, when their queue goes down, or they're not getting movie contracts, or they're not getting tours or being looked at, I think the con is they will find something that they can say that is totally freaking outrageous about Trump. Remember when Jim Carrey was painting pictures? They will find the most outrageous thing they can say on the liberal side. Of course, it will go viral because of the liberal side. Of course, conservatives will look at it to see what the freaking idiots are saying. And what happens is because Hollywood is so radically liberal, it'll put that person back on the mind of all the Hollywood execs and showrunners and producers and all that stuff. And they'll go, man, she's calling out Trump. She's good. And they will get a new project. And she gets noticed again. I am 100% convinced Jim Carrey's career was dead. Over. Dead. And he started doing that stuff and got a couple of more movies, came right back to the top. I forget what it was. The kid movies, Mario Brothers, don't matter what it is. They don't watch that shit. But I think that's what it is. That's how they earn the ass kissing. They electronically kiss ass to the system. I believe it. They electronically, social media, kiss ass. And because they amplify the BS message like that and get people to mimic it, because people watch stars or so-called stars, even washed up stars, if you're willing to go out there and be ridiculed, who gives a shit? They're going to be write you millions of dollars of checks. They don't give a shit. They just consider it performance. And I think that's how they get back in systems radar, not ours as much as the systems. And then the system will aptly reward them depending upon how viral and shit that stuff goes. Right? Call it a bribe, call it whatever. I think that's how it's done. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's performance art when you have no morals. It is 100% performance art. And they know the system runs that way. They know the system is flamingly liberal. They know the system pushes shit. And when you got a government cracking down on the liberal shit in the shows, the executives get pissed off, right? Cutting out the DEI and stuff. And so you get performers, actors, kind of washed up. They'll go to extreme because they get that message back out there that the studios can't get. And they go, oh, hey, come back in. You're one of us. I think that's how it works. Does that make sense to you? I think I figured that crap out. Anyway, I think it would be very fun for somebody like me, and I would do it, to debate somebody like her. I think it would be fun to have somebody like me on The View that's been in system, been in media, understands this stuff. Okay, let's just talk it out. Let's just debate it out. Let's see if this moves the needle, right? And see what happens, right? And yes, Jim Carrey got rewarded, came back up the charts, got several new movies. I think that's how the system does it. Because you only have a few options, right? You go out and get caught screwing a dog. That's one way to get on radar. You go out and get yourself arrested shoplifting. You ever thought about how many stars do that? And they think, why would a star be shoplifting? No, it's press. It's press. And so they intentionally go out and do something stupid, gets them back on the radar, and Hollywood notices them again. If it trends, they go, oh, America really does like them. Let's get them into something and do it. And it's also the psychology that people love their heroes. They love to see their heroes fall, and then they love to see their heroes make comebacks. I think that's what it is. By the way, have y'all ordered my sex tape yet? No? It's all extended version. It had to be, or just wouldn't fit. Anyway, are you hearing the news that Smartmatic, 4 men, including the president of Smartmatic, were indicted Thursday in a federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the electronic voting system. Did you hear that story? Put it in chat if you heard that story. Streamlining. Yes, Henry, we're going to do a sphincter sunathon. Whoever can hold their legs up the longest and sun their sphincter wins a year's supply of aloe vera gel. You would have had to join us the other night when we sat around and had cocktails. And we talked about such things as not anal bleaching. That's something different, right? Anal sunning. Look it up. It's a thing. I had videos. I showed you. Not mine. Not mine. Anyway, had y'all heard this story that a 4 Smartmatic executives or people got arrested, right? The president of Smartmatic, 4 men, here's the story. 4 men, including the president of Smartmatic, were indicted on Thursday in a federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the electronic voting system. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. There were, I think Patrick Byrne said this. You just wait. You just wait. There's going to be an indictment, Smartmatic, with all the machine story. And they released a little Venezuela wheelie testimony. Oh, my God, here's my breaking testimony and all that. Right? Now, hang on. I've got a system crash. Isn't that funny? Damn it. Once again, don't know how or why. Okay, hang on. You got to bear with me, guys. I do not know what happened. I don't even know if I'm still on the air. Shit. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on one second. It says you can hear me, but my video still. Let me tell you what's going on right now. Here I am talking about Smartmatic, and we have lost total control of all our systems. Right now, we're fighting to get it back. I can't even close down systems. So you got to bear with me a moment. Okay, you got to bear with me for a moment. Hang on. You're probably going to lose me on Instagram. You're probably going to lose me on, Are you looking at my pretty mouth? Knock it off. Stop looking at my pretty mouth. Fucking not in the Georgia mountains. Anyway, Instagram giving you a heads up. Get over to Rumble, JovanHuttonPulitzer.com/Rumble. Okay. Well, excuse me. Rumble.com/Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. You stop looking at my mouth. I'm telling you now. I see the comments. You're all looking at my mouth. Rumble.com/Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. I don't care if I have pretty lips. Knock it off. Shouldn't be looking at my lips anyway. Should be looking at my tongue. Anyway, so hang on. We're going to try to do some recovery. Okay. I know I'm frozen. Rumble's frozen. I got that. But now what we're doing is we're doing a system resource move. So you got to hang on. Okay. We have to do it a certain way. So 1 second. We're trying to recover now. And evidently I'm still talking to you. Isn't that ironic that it happens right in the middle of the program? Okay. You may see doubles here for a moment. Huh, it's me and it's not me. Hold on. You got me? Okay, now you got double sound. So hang on. We're trying a recovery measure. Hang on. Damn it. You'll hear me talking double. Do you have double sound? You have double sound? Or not? Is it just me that has double sound? Okay, you don't have double sound. Okay, I'll try to fumble through it, but hang on. Single feed, now on Twitch. You got good sound audio-wise? Yes, I'm double the fun. Ladies, line up. Okay, so here's what's going on in the studio. We lost control of two feeds. We lost control of Instagram. We lost control of YouTube. And somehow we have lost control of some of the studio monitors. And the unfortunate thing is I've got double feedback. And so hang on. Give us a minute to look through these things. Ah, there it is. Ready? We did it. Okay. Now I got to do a lateral move here. We got a hold of it. Do you guys have your video back all the way across the board? Let's see what happened to sound. We got sound. Okay, let me know if you have good sound. Okay, let me know if you got good sound. Sorry, looking all wild-eyed there. Okay. So you got this story. I think isn't it funny? Do you think it's a coinky-dink? I'm about to tell you the story about Smartmatic. And the moment it happens, the moment I start telling you this, boom, our systems get hit. Right? Yeah. Okay. So you're seeing these headlines that 4 men, including president of Smartmatic, were indicted on Thursday in a federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the electronic voting system. So you heard that story, right? Confirm you heard that stories. Now, obviously, I want to break it to you. It's the Jews, but that's old news. We're going to talk about other stuff other than the Jews. And that's why I'm so fucking worn out. Same with Roseanne. I was talking to Roseanne and Mel. We're all fucking worn out. The three of us as Jews running the world. In between it, we do some good things. But anyway, you're going to see this story come across. You mysteriously 2 weeks ago got the breaking story of a Smartmatic whistleblower. And it's going to free Tina Peters. Right? Now, and then right after that, you heard from Patrick Byrne, it's coming. They're going to indict Smartmatic, blah, 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 blah. And here it comes. Boy. In fact, 4 men, including the president of Smartmatic, were indicted on Thursday in a federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the election voting systems. I'm going to read this to you again. I want you to memorize it. 4 men, including the president of Smartmatic, were indicted on Thursday in a federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the electronic voting system. Number one, about fucking time. Right? About fucking time. Can you agree with that? Okay. I want to unpack this to you. And it's great news. It's freaking great news. And you see the headlines. That particular headline, I think, came from the Gateway Pundit. Right? And you're seeing it all over. Fucking voting machine. They're taking them down. Smartmatic. Okay. Here is what the charges are. Write them down, because I'm going to give you the full story, and I think it's very important you know the full story. The headlines tell you it's 4 men, including the president of Smartmatic, for federal grand jury for bribery and fraud related to the electronic voting systems. And finally, some proof that those machines are bad, are horrible, are rigged. Okay. The charges, quit blowing my punchline, damn it. It's my program. Smartmatic people were, in fact, indicted. And they were indicted under the FCPA, FCPA, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Number one, the case, the at issue, the charge is for something that happened in the Philippines. Now, I know many of you in the United States drive to our neighboring state of the Philippines. You do it on family vacation. You probably have a lot of family in the Philippines when you go for barbecues. I mean, I do. I can remember as a kid from Arkansas, we drive over to the Philippine state. Fucking A, right? The women. It's amazing that the state of Philippines, how different. You know, I thought people from Appalachia looked different, but it was amazing how those citizens of the state of Philippines look so different than us. Have you noticed that? Now, granted, the Philippines is great. They love you a long time. It's a good place. I mean, it's really cool, right? If you, it's kind of like the Mexican donkey shows, the banana shows, all this other stuff. Anyway, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The state of Philippines, it's kind of like down to the right a little bit, right? I love Filipinos, but the only thing I like better than Filipinos is Filipinas. I love me some Filipinas. Anyway, so the Smartmatic executives were in fact charged in the Southern District of Florida. See, I told you it was over there. It's close. You know what I'm talking about when I say Filipinas, right? That's Philippine woman. Anyway, the indictment covers Roger Alejandro Punani Martinez, or Pananti Martinez, right? Venezuelan citizen and a resident of Boca Raton. You know how those Venezuelans come by house in Boca Raton. And then Jorge Miguel Vasquez, 62. He is a U.S. citizen, a resident of Davie, Florida. Fucking A. Well, evidently they were in cahoots, right? With Juan Andres Donato Batista. Juan Andres Donato Batista. Sounds like these guys can cook really good. Anyway, this person was the former chairman of the Filipino Commission of Elections. I kid you not, it's called COMELEC. Yes. COMELEC. COMELEC. I love you. Long time COMELEC. Yes, I win one of our elections. I COMELEC. In our elections. Yes, I am. I am the former chairman of the Filipino COMELEC. Anyway, good friend to have. COMELEC. Look it up for yourself. COMELEC. They run elections long time. Cheap too. 2 for 1. Somebody says, Camo Punk says, I've never been to Spain, but I sure like the ladies. Spanish ladies are the bomb. And did you know a lot of Spanish ladies are blonde with blue eyes? I bet you didn't know that. Anyway, and so here's the deal, okay? Southern Florida has returned an indictment on these individuals. So it's 3 individuals and a service provider company, right? 3 individuals and a service provider company. That's the one from the COMELEC. In the Republic of the Philippines, for their alleged bribery and money laundering scheme to retain and obtain business relating to the 2016 Philippine elections. According to the indictment, Jorge Juan, right? Between 2015 and 2018, that Roger Adejo Bentejo Martinez, a Venezuela's citizen, and a Roca Boca, and all this a resident of Boca, they allegedly caused, get ready, $1 million in bribes to be paid. They did. They paid $1 million in bribes to COMELEC to say, keep using our machines and giving us contracts. You ever been to the Philippines? Everything works on bribes. Everything works on bribes. But these guys paid $1 million. They use outside sources to keep using our services and machines. Now, let me ask you a question. First off, it's 2015 through 18. But you heard recently, and you're going to see indictments of Smartmatic executives that's coming. I'm telling you, see the whistleblower, it's going to free Tina Peterson. What the fuck? What the fuck? Now, see, all you're hearing across conservative news is Smartmatic, they got him. See, I personally suddenly got rid of the machines. Well, this one didn't get rid of the machines. In fact, it had not a freaking thing to actually do with the machines. And you're giving far better odds than I am. It has nothing to do with the machines. The actual charge has nothing at all to do with the machines. Zero. Not a bit. Doesn't mean the machines are corrupt. Doesn't mean the machines are not corrupt. The headlines are telling you this. This is why I asked, right? This is why I asked, is there any news that will really tell you just the fucking truth of what it is? Here's the charge. The $1 million went through American banks. It's the machines! I just didn't tell you it was an ATM machine and not a voting machine. Come on. This is a federal statute that says if some element of a crime, any element of the crime, occurred in the U.S. or U.S. facilities, then the United States can do something. Now, the prosecutors are alleging, it still has to be proven in court or whatever, that the funds were routed through U.S. bank accounts, or that the transactions occurred via United States-based financial institutions or used U.S. wires. Now, the FCPA, basically is designed to reach bribery of foreign officials by U.S. persons or foreign persons. And so this kind of comes under this stuff that it at least touches the U.S. territory because the money flowed through the bank. Okay. Now the courts can say people can be prosecuted for bribery abroad lawfully if there's a sufficient enough U.S. connection. It falls under the money laundering statutes, right? It just basically, we won't do it for cocaine runners. We won't do it for that because it all goes to the U.S. stuff. But we want to move the needle in the U.S. and make you think we got the machines. And so we're going to go after these guys who got paid, and it's going to look like we got Smartmatic. I just want you to understand that. I just want you to understand that. The organized crime shit goes through U.S. accounts. The cartels goes through U.S. accounts, right? All of this stuff. But you get to say, voting machine, Smartmatic, because somebody bribed because a Venezuelan bribed a Filipino. Even if it is a bribe. So I question this. Where's the meat? Where's the meat? You got one person. That's why they say they're in Boca Raton or Davies, Florida. That's what they're saying. Well, one is a U.S. citizen and one resides in Florida. Okay. And the charge is that these fellows, who they say are Smartmatic executives, I still haven't found that part yet. I still have not found that they're actually Smartmatic executives. I'm looking for it. I have not found it. Okay. The Justice Department talks about this, right? They publish stuff on it. And they're considered the Justice Department trying to say they're a Venezuelan citizen that lives in Boca Raton and another Venezuela that lives in the U.S., but they're saying they actually work for Smartmatic. Now, they keep on saying executives. I've looked. I can't quite find that, right? But the four that were charged with Batista, Pianata, Vasquez, and there's somebody named Ellie Moreno. Now, check out this combo. Ellie Moreno is a citizen of both Venezuela and Israel. Oh, it's the Jews! Which, now that I told you more details, watch what happens on social media. Somebody will pick this one individual with a dual citizenship. Oh, it's the Jews. I told you it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Watch. I'm telling you. They don't do their homework. I do it for them, and they just regurgitate it. But this is something they paid some cum-lick official $1 million to influence retention of voting machine contracts. And they did it by over invoicing, creating a slush fund through shell entities, wiring it. In other words, it's fucking bribes, okay? And the one, Jorge Miguel Vasquez, lives in Florida. He's a U.S. citizen, et cetera. And what the Department of Justice did is they charged SGO Corporation, LTD, that's Smartmatic's parent structure. So they actually, in a roundabout way, charge Smartmatic. But what they actually did is they didn't charge Smartmatic. They charged the parent entity, which is called SGO Corporation Ltd. And it was under the violation of the FUCPA, FCPA, and violations of it, including money laundering statutes. Now, the first thing that's going to happen in this from a defense team, and yes, this is just like the Biden crime family and them did it. I'm giving you the facts. You make up your own mind about how is it relevant, where is it relevant, what does it mean? Hey, got the voting, electronic voting machines, whatever it is. You just make up your own mind, okay? But don't get pissed at me when I tell you the absolute facts of what's going on, because you're only going to see one headline. Now, the defense, okay, the first defense that's going to come up is called challenge of venue or jurisdiction. And they can basically say, this is too freaking nuanced to actually have a true U.S. connection. And so they're going to fight on lack of connection, that it's so far out there, it's lack of connection. And by the way, there's not really a connection. It's called extraterritorial overreach, which basically means even the courts look at this. How far can U.S. law reach into foreign conduct, especially, and here's the key, when the activity occurs overseas? Now, let me ask you a question. It's for the Philippines to keep allowing Dominion contracts. So it's 100% something that occurs in the Philippines. And that falls legally under extraterritorial overreach. 100% of the activity is overseas. You got one of the guys that might have sovereignty or what's called comity concerns because he's an official for the country under Cumlick. And so it can be pushed back for that. So I don't really know what's going to come of this. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm telling you, the headlines you're reading are horseshit. So do your own homework. Do I want to see bad guys go away? Absolutely. Do I want to see our elections fixed in the United States of America? Absolutely. Do I think it's all broken? Absolutely. Do I think people will make heyday with this and run a con on you that you actually think something's fixed? They got the bad guys and they're locking them up and indicting them? Horse shit. That's my personal opinion. Horse shit. Horse shit. I think it is another talk it up show to sway public opinion and make it look like something's being done when nothing's being done. My personal opinion. So let's talk about tattooed women. At least we'll have some fun, right? I mean, it's a natural segue. We were just talking about Cumlick, right? That's the Filipino Voting Commission. It's called Cumlick. Comelec. Cumlick. Okay. You see this little beauty here? Now, she only got her head tattooed after I let her go because she figured out how to break the chain that I had her on for a nose ring to keep her retained in the basement. But she got out. And her name's Bethany Abigail Terrell. She's 37. And while standing on the street with ICE, when ICE was conducting an arrest in Massachusetts, she yelled at ICE agents. Okay, so what happened is ICE is doing its job. This little tattooed girl, she's small, got tattoos all over. I did not get to inspect them. I offered. I did not get to inspect all of the tattoos, so I don't personally know. But what she did is she physically injected herself between the illegals and the agents while the agents were trying to effect an arrest. And what she did, allegedly, is she was verbally abusive and she attempted to physically interfere with the arrest and ultimately made threatening statements. Ready for this? Dumbass, to kill a federal officer on the scene. Here's what she said. Get ready. Here's what she started screaming. ICE is here. ICE is here. You guys are monsters. This is insane. Sir, what's your name? What's your name? I can try to help you. I am an American civilian. I have the right to be here. That's what she started saying. Okay. They told her to back up. And then she came out saying, Charlie Kirk died and we love it. We're coming for you. We're going to kill you. I don't know why liberals can't rhyme, but they can't, right? I think all of us could find a better rhyme. Taser, bro. You tased me, bro. Anyway, since she got physical, since federal agents were there, and she says, we're coming for you, I'm going to kill you, law enforcement's doing its job. That is a felony. It carries 10 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a $250,000 fine. That's good. It's a terroristic threat. It should be done. Now, if I was her attorney, instead of 10 years, I say, honor, release her. To me, I'll personally be responsible for, order her to stay chained to the foot of my bed for at least 3 years and do everything I say. And I could have rehabilitated her, but our system doesn't work like that. But you know why I'm glad about this? They have to prosecute these. They have to prosecute these. Last month, the grand jury indicted 3 women that were stalking an ICE agent and his family. See, this is getting out of control. They are finding where these agents live, and they're following home. That was in California. This is terrorism, folks. This is terrorism. And the system, unfortunately, has allowed it. So, one less Dem voter, you're right. Right? You're asking if I really think I could rehabilitate her. I don't know. I don't know. Could I train her well? Yes, I could. Exceptionally well. But I don't know if I could rehabilitate her. Speaking of terrorists and the government really cracking down on this stuff, have you seen this story about this two terrorists here? Right? Oh, do you want to see what somebody's saying? Well, how do you know what she really looks like? I got a picture. Hang on. I don't know why I didn't put that up. Let me show you something before I show you these guys. Hang on. Ready? Here it is. Okay. Oh, and that's right. Even when she's in prison, she'll vote because she's registered. Ding, ding. Here we go. There she is. Right? There she is. I don't know, guys. Is that rehabilitatable? That's the same person. That was her. Just a question. Is she rehabilitatable? Oh, come on. You know that's the same person. How can you not see? It's from the same photo, body, face. It's just a crop. I hear she's a princess. Yes. You don't know her name? She has like an OnlyFans. I think it's like Princess Lemmy. Right? I think so. Princess Lemmy. Anyway. Well, why does everybody, they're asking, why does everybody tattoo her face? Princess Lemmy. There's a little pause in that. Lemmy. Princess Lemmy wants to be recognized as a princess. She wears her crown upside down, as you can see, because you normally look at it looking down towards the top of her head. But that's kind of what it is, right? I know you're saying the damn nose ring has to go away. I'm telling you, if it works on a 2,000-pound steer or bull to lead them around like a little wimpy servant, it will work on this 100-pound chick. Don't know. I might force her to listen to my show 24 hours a day. If you don't like all the tattoos on her face, be creative. Fucking flip her over. Anyway, let's talk about these clowns. Because these clowns are in the news and she's getting prosecuted. Do you know about these two clowns? You seen their faces before? Thank God the government's doing this. These are the very first ever Antifa people charged. So you're looking at history when you look at these two. Now, I think the one on the left identifies as a woman. I think, right? Right? And you're right, Jay Squirrel. I just have to admit, I will honestly, if they'll turn her over to me, I will honestly use my best effort to rehabilitate her. I promise. I am very good at those things. I'm very good at those things. Anyway, these two people, our Department of Justice has made history. You remember President Trump signed in that Antifa is a terrorist organization, and they're going after the funders, and they're working on it right now, right? And these are two of the people that attacked a nice facility in Texas. Was it July 4th or whatever it was? It was in Alvarado, Texas. Supposedly, these two are part of an Antifa cell from North Texas. They were dressed in black military-style clothing. They began shooting fireworks at the facility as part of an organized attempt. Now, I think the person on the left, Cameron Arnold, officially goes by on his OnlyFans as Autumn Hill. Autumn Hill. Now, that's kind of an ironic name for a thing. But I got to thinking about it. It's kind of at least being honest, right? That dude probably dresses up in lace and stuff. goes by Autumn Hill. It basically stands for, you ought to tell them about that hill down there that you're covering up with a piece of lace, because the hill means you're a dude. Beware of the hill. Anyway, because it was a coordinated attack, they charged this in the Northern District of Texas. It is a crime, and all of them got charged with attempted murder. I believe we've got to pursue this. So following that charge, they've also been accused of terrorism, and it's under providing material support for terrorism, attempting to murder federal and assisting officers, and just discharging firearms, because somewhere a firearm came into it, during it. So this is the very first time that Antifa has arrested any of these Antifa extremists. Again, this is the process. Yes, they're related, brother and sister, husband and wife, but don't tell anybody. Yes, they are related. You can tell by looking at their noses. Anyway, I think this is a good thing. And I think our government needs to stick to it. Why? We wouldn't get away with that shit. Right? We wouldn't get away with that shit. And it's just so refreshing to see a government doing stuff that should have been dealt with a long time ago, that basically says, this shit ain't going to stand. By the way, Coffee Gal, thank you very much for that great tip. Thank you so very much. I'm trying to bring you the news on this day just to kind of, keep you what's going on. And so now that we're finished with the husband and husband, brother and brother, let's talk about something pleasing to the eye. Here we are again. It's come back around. We're about to have that No Kings protest. It is coming to a city near you. Though all those little dots, right? All those little dots are the place they're going to have where they're going to push back on Trump's power grabs and make it clear we don't want any monarchs here. It's going to be the largest peaceful protest in modern American history. They have Hillary Clinton pitching it. It's going to happen. Be prepared. They say they got 2,000 locations across the United States, including such conservative bastions as Los Angeles, Boston, Washington, D.C., Washington State, Chicago, Atlanta, New Orleans, Kansas City, Bozeman, Montana, and special spots in Canada and Mexico, because I do not want to break into an America if it's run by a dictator. You better get rid of the dictator so I can break in and not live under his rule. That was my German Mexican, but you'll forgive me. Oh. No King's Day. You saw that crap. No King's Day. Can you believe that stuff? Why do people think this moves the needle? Have you figured it out yet? Why do people think that stuff moves the needle? What is the goal? What is the goal of those things? Carl said it's happening in his little town. Yes, they all have lack of knowledge, don't know what it is. It is all pay to play, yes, but it is not hopium. What is the goal? There you go. Jan. Hey, Jan, you know where you got that invite to the party? I'll go with you. Talking about the little neighborhood party. I'll come up. And do you look good in a nose ring? How about a collar? We'll go to that party together. Here's the deal. Remember, I told you, it's not about smearing the president. Not at all. Not at all. It's narrative. When you break it down, they are spending money to hire people in certain places. Hell, it might be $100. No nose rings? Okay. Can I pull you around by your nipple rings then? Did I tell you I'm a part-time piercer? Anyway, and it's not even trying to be relevant. I think I really understand this. The system doesn't give a shit about those people. They don't. All they're doing is they'll disperse a little money in those towns, okay? So they can get the news story of it's happening in 2,000 places across the United States. All it is a news touch point so they can get news clips and stories. That's it. Now, if you happen to watch the news, if you actually watch it, then they get some I hate Donald Trump content out. But the whole thing is make you stop and look like a car wreck. Oh my God, 2,000 cities. Holy shit. To con you into thinking there is a movement of people that truly believe Trump is installing a monarchy. That's all it is. That's all it is. I look and I try to find the common denominators and stuff. It is theater. That's it. That's it. None of it's based on fact. It's got like 3 or 4 party lines. They say somebody does a website, puts all these dots on it. We got people there. You know, it's Fat Tina maybe and wherever, right? And Blobby Bobby and all this other stuff. That's all it is. And they get to put a dot on a map and they get you to think. There it is. They get you to think, what? This is sweeping the nation. This is how much, sadly, we as humans care to fit in and to be part of the trend and to feel like we belong. It is you think about what possibly, like USAID, what possibly could they spend all that freaking money on? They do spend it. Not all of it. They put some in their pockets. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's it. They'll pay people to show up and they get to say, in this protest tonight, we cover the protest of No Kings sweeping the nation. It is spreading across America like a swarm of bees. You can't even see the East Coast. It is so prevalent. Now, here's a simple question. A little bit of logic. You ready? If it was working, if it was moving the needle, if it was working, and if it was moving the needle, would Hillary Clinton even need to be brought on board to push it? No. It would be organic and natural, be everywhere. So what you're seeing here is a con, a desperate con. They're taking one of their favored faces, trying to still save face and look belligerent and look like they're on the side of the people. They're dropping it in to convince you this is a big ass event. It's the opposite. When they bring in the big gun, it's not because they're winning, it's because they're fucking losing. And she's getting paid very well. So I want you to understand that. I want you to understand when Obama's drop in for like the governor up in Virginia, across in Virginia, that wants that extreme liberal there, it's not because the person's great or winning. It's because the person's getting their ass kicked and they need a big gun to come in because weak people go, oh, well, if Obama thinks she's good, she must be good. Same thing here. 100% of this in everything we look at in news, which is how I started the beginning of the program, I'm telling you, is a fucking con job. It's just a bullshit con job. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Even like Smartmatic indicted over the voting me. It's a bullshit con job designed to crap in our cranium. That's it. Every bit of it on all sides. We are so deep into psychological warfare. We are so deep into the massaging of our minds. And just like, right? Spanberger, you're right. Therese, my little Filipina. Spanberger is the one running for governor in Virginia, and they just pulled out the Obama gun because Winsome's closing the gap and kicking her ass. Yes, we don't need no tyranny day. We don't need that. We need no tranny day, but we don't need no tyranny day. Here's my whole point to this. When I look at these stories, everything is a con. Everything has a con, everything has an angle. I don't think there's any way around it. Even when we may have the greatest administration we ever had, and yes, they're doing some good things, a lot of it's just bullshit. Bullshit to make you think something's going on. Bullshit to make you think people are doing their job. Now, I know it's hard to clean a government and it's hard to eradicate rat bastards and stuff. But you know what? The system knows the American people too well. That the American people don't dig for facts. The American people are blinded and move on. And the perfect freaking example, right here. Think about how many people have moved on for this. Obama's supposed to be the big ass gun superstar, messianic politician ever. 69 million votes in his first term. Holdover, so love you back. 65 million in his second term. Hillary got 65 against Trump. Then we got that middle FU finger, 81 of Biden, which is a joke. And then, of course, Kamala, right, lost, but she had 68. That tells you, they're trying to tell you she's as popular as Biden, more popular than even Hillary, right? But see, Trump's in, so nobody pays attention. Well, when you were not paying attention, this happened. You can go look it up yourself. It continually updates. They have inched Kamala up to 75 million votes, folks. Now, all that does is justify that maybe Biden really did have 81. I'm telling you, all of it is a con job. Every bit of it, all sides. Con job, con job, con job, con job. Oh, yeah. Well, Kamala was the most powerful Democrat presidential candidate ever. But see, people don't look at facts. And the system banks on that. The loudest noise right now in America are the people who are quiet. It's deafening. People don't say anything. People don't say anything about this. People don't say, well, where's the fucking PCAPs? That was bullshit. Where's this? That was bullshit. And you keep on buying the next con job. Well, we got rid of the machines. No. And nobody, if you had the freaking evidence that all 175,000 precincts, 3,400 counties was all in the PCAPs, then you find out in court it never existed, you just forgive it and move on. I can't. And I look at this, and you know why that's able to happen? Because we move away. We just move on. We just move on. And go from the next crisis. Oh, I got Smartmatic indicted. You've got to be as tired of it as I am. But the loudest noise in the world right now is every fucking body being quiet. It speaks loudly. Because they're too chicken shit to call it out. We're told to be nice. We're told not to be offensive. Well, they're on your team. You don't call out team players. I'm telling you what. They're not on my team when they're helping cover this up. We're not on the same fucking team. Well, they had the PCAPs. He's just trying. You're not on my fucking team if you lie about evidence. Isn't that the problem we have? We just accept, well, you got to be a team player. Don't attack somebody on your own team. Screw you. My team's the American people. The loudest noise should be people speaking about what went wrong, making things happen. It's all up to us to make things happen. But if we don't even make things happen, nothing's going to get done. And that's why they hid everything about the full forensic audit. It's why we need you to speak out. It's the only way we're going to fix it.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies filed 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gets full and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pull the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.
This crazy world is telling you your sons can be daughters and your daughters can be your sons. When will the madness stop? Never. So you have to decide, will you comply or defy? They tell us all, you will own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Is this why America's largest food processing plants and food supply plants keep burning down? Do you really think this is a coincidence? Of course not. The system is telling us right to our faces what they have planned for us. You have a choice. Comply or simply defy their plan for us all. Defy the system's plan and execute your own plan. Abundant, safe, secure natural food supply. Introducing the Food Forest Bible. This bestseller by Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is the single most complete, executable, easy-to-follow plan for sustainable, self-managing food production for self-sufficiency and food security. For the first time ever, a coffee table, heirloom quality full color book which unlocks the ancient secrets of creating a food forest. Imagine planting in a way which requires no digging, no pesticides, and creates massive ancient food abundance. No fooling. Food forests are the ancient secret to planning and planting once. And have your own Garden of Eden, which will feed your families for decade after decade. Buck the system. Buck the New World Order and order your very own copy of Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's Food Forest Bible. Learn how to create a sustainable, self-managing, natural food production for self-sufficiency and food security for your family. Side yard, small yard, backyard, backlot, or even lots of acres, the Food Forest Bible works for everyone. Order on Amazon, hardcover, softcover, or ebook. Don't comply. Expertly defy the system.